And the anguish that you would have felt when your daughter did not return home on that fateful day in August this year, in the last moments of Uyaneni's life, and the disrespect her remains would have been subject to.
Hiking on Lion's Head was something Uyaneni Mkhwetyana loved to do, but her life was tragically cut short in August 2019.
This was indeed a heinous and cruel act and crime. Indeed, the killing, violence and abuse of women.
Welcome to the channel. But before we dive in, hey friends, if you end up liking this video, please hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up, and drop a comment too. Tell me what city you're watching from and what time it is there. I'm really curious to see where my audience is tuning in from. All right, now let's get started. So friends, welcome to Claremont in Cape Town, South Africa, a neighborhood that at first glance seems super calm and respectable. You've got well-kept streets, green parks, shopping centers, and a buzzing student life, which all kind of makes it feel completely safe. But like, it's exactly these kinds of places where crimes can happen and go unnoticed for a long time. Behind that polished exterior, there have been mysterious disappearances, attacks, and cases that shook the local community. Quiet alleys and shadowy park paths have appeared in police reports more than once, and even a simple evening walk could sometimes end in tragedy. Claremont is a reminder that even in the safest neighborhoods, danger can be lurking just around the corner. And it's here that we meet the main character of our story. She was 19-year-old Onmukana, a first-year student at the University of Cape Town studying film and media. Everyone knew her as Na. She was focused, ambitious, and always dreaming big dreams she'd had since she was a kid. She was part of the student council, did a lot of volunteering, and at the time was involved in several sports societies. Her mum used to say she was a fighter, a person who pushed others to speak the truth and be the best, strongest versions of themselves. She was, honestly, a cheerleader for everyone around her. Besides film and media, Na loved fashion, traveling, and just seeing as much of the world as she could. She approached life with this infectious energy and total fearlessness. Her brother, Isa, said she was the complete opposite of him. She had this fearless spirit, super open, he said. She had this way of making people feel comfortable in a room when she was around. In our family, she was the one keeping us all on track. That's what made her so special. On Saturday, August 24th, 2019, Na was doing her usual stuff, house chores, studying, and hanging out with friends. She had ordered some clothes online, and after waiting 2 weeks for the delivery, she left her student housing at Ross Common House to pick up the package at the Claremont post office. When she got there though, they told her there was a power outage and the system wasn't working, so even though her package was there, they couldn't hand it over right away. Power outages in that area were, like, pretty common. So the worker told her to come back around 2 o'clock. By then, everything should be up and running again. Na wasn't upset at all. She decided to wait, since she still had a few things to take care of in town, and then she planned to grab a taxi back to the post office later. But as the hours passed and evening rolled in, people started to get worried. No one had heard from Na, and she hadn't returned to her dorm for dinner. She wasn't picking up her phone, which was super unusual for someone as responsible and always on the go as her. So, not long after, the authorities were notified about her disappearance. NA had never gone missing before, and she definitely wouldn't just vanish like that unless something serious had happened. Soon, a frantic search kicked off across the city. Over the next few days, her family, the university, and the student community hired 3 private detectives who teamed up with the police. The hashtag number #BringHome started trending, and the University of Cape Town released a statement saying they were providing all possible support and ramping up security on campus. Everyone was on edge. 24 hours passed, then a few days, still no sign, no word from the 19-year-old. The search intensified, but it was like Na had vanished into thin air.
According to the police, Uyaneni Mkhwetyana was last seen on Saturday afternoon. She had been in the Claremont area on her way to the post office. Her worried friends have been holding prayer meetings. They describe Mkhwetyana as a loving person with a gentle soul, and they're hoping she'll return home unharmed.
Nene is a beautiful, strong, independent woman. Like, she is so independent, and she's like very responsible, and she's just a lovely, like, genuine person.
Mkhwetyana's friends have this message for her.
Nene, I just want to say, like, we are looking for you. We're doing what we can. don't lose hope. We here, we know that you need us, and we've got you.
The families now hired a private investigator, hoping to speed up the search. South Africans have been moved by their plight. The hashtag #BringBackNene has been trending on social media. Nobesutu Ejana, Cape Town.
People claimed they saw her around 5 o'clock near a hair salon in Mowbray that's about a 10-minute drive from her place, but that tip was quickly ruled out. After running a few more errands in town, Na briefly returned to her student housing and then called a taxi back to the post office. The Claremont post office sat on a busy road between a high school and the police station, really close to her dorm. The driver said he dropped her off right across the street at exactly 2:09 in the afternoon. Storefront cameras in the area confirmed it. According to him, she looked completely fine, nothing seemed off, and she wasn't upset or worried. She got out of the car and crossed the street toward the post office. After that, no camera captured her again. The post office's own security cameras weren't working, so investigators questioned all the staff. Among them was 42-year-old Leander Busen, the guy who took her package, processed it, and told Na to come back at 2. Turns out, at that moment, he was the only person in the building. Even weirder, he had swapped shifts with a colleague, letting her leave early while he stayed behind to lock up the office alone. According to the official schedule, the Claremont post office closed at 1 o'clock on Saturdays, so it looked pretty odd that Leander stuck around an entire extra hour just for one package for one person. Things got even more suspicious when they found out that Na's package had actually arrived on August 16th, and Leander registered it that same day. But he waited a whole week before contacting her. NA had even come by the week before her disappearance asking about it, so he knew she was waiting. And when she came back on August 24th, he still didn't hand it over, telling her to come back later, basically after the office had already closed. Later, authorities got a disturbing anonymous tip. After the weekend, when the post office reopened, someone had seen blood on a mop. Samples taken from the building confirmed it was Na's blood near the safe. On August 29th, 5 days after Na went missing, police arrested Leander Busen and shut down the post office. They found Na's blood inside his car and on his shoes. Within just a few days, what started as a missing person case turned into the thing everyone feared most, an official murder investigation.
Now we start with a 42-year-old man who has been arrested in connection with the disappearance of a 19-year-old University of Cape Town student. She went missing a week ago already. The suspect was arrested in Claremont yesterday.
Nobody outside law enforcement knew was that her body had actually been found on August 26th in Kryfontein Township. It had been burned beyond recognition, beaten badly, and buried in a pit near an abandoned railroad track. DNA tests were done to confirm her identity, but the authorities already knew it was Na. Leander himself had pointed them to the exact spot where she was found.
Meanwhile, police say DNA tests and an autopsy will be performed soon on an unidentified body that was discovered in Lingaletu West in Khayelitsha on Monday. This in an effort now to determine the identity of the victim and indeed the cause of death. The body has not been confirmed as belonging to Uinen.
From the university gathered for a vigil that went on well past midnight. Vigils and gatherings were happening not just across the city, but all over the country. People were hit with this deep sense of sadness, especially knowing that everyone had been searching for her with so much hope for days, completely unaware that she had already been found. Mum said she was overwhelmed with guilt and anger that she hadn't been there and couldn't protect her. And out of all the places she had warned Na to be careful, the post office on a Saturday wasn't exactly on that list. Leander confessed everything pretty quickly. The attack had been completely planned. He had set things up so Na would come back to the post office when no one else would be there. His goal was to sexually assault her. The moment she stepped into the empty building and pulled out her wallet, he locked the door and went straight for her. Na pushed him away, panicked, and screamed. He raped her twice. She fought desperately, even running toward the locked doors, trying to get away. Then he shoved her to the floor. While she begged for her life, he started strangling her. He said she kept resisting, so he grabbed a 2-kilogram weight they used for weighing packages and bludgeoned her to death. After she died, he stuffed her body into the safe and covered it with pillows, a blanket, and part of his own clothing. Then he went to bars and drank, acting like nothing had happened. The next day, on Sunday, when no one was working and there were no cameras, he returned confident he wouldn't get caught. He talked to a security guard patrolling the area and convinced him to let him park his car inside the post office complex. Leander put Nea's body in a postal bag and drove it to a deserted location nearly an hour away by an abandoned railroad track. He dumped her in a shallow pit and set it on fire. The next day, he took the car through a car wash. While everyone was still searching for Na, he went to the store across from the post office, the same spot where the taxi had dropped her off shortly after 2 in the afternoon. He asked to see Saturday's security footage, claiming he'd left something outside and it had been stolen. They showed him the video, but the camera wasn't aimed at the post office entrance. People didn't know much about Leander. He was pretty quiet, kept to himself, and had recently gone through a divorce. At the same time, he had a criminal past dating back to the 1990s, and in 2014, he had even been accused of rape. Those charges were dropped, but the detectives couldn't ignore that history. The magistrate handling the case ruled that his identity couldn't be made public, but his name was already spreading widely on social media, and a lot of people had already guessed who was being blamed for what happened to Na. Thoughts about Leander were all over the place. One neighbour described him as a quiet, devout man who loved going to church. Another said he was kind, always carrying a Bible, offering people Bible study sessions and prayers. But others added that many women found something creepy about him, and he made them feel uneasy. Hundreds of people travelled to East London to say goodbye to the UCT student who had been killed.
Hundreds of mourners converged on East London to say goodbye to slain UCT student Uyinene Mkhwetyana.
An emotional send-off, paying tribute to a daughter, sister, friend, a special person to those close to her. She's been described as honest, beautiful, vibrant, intelligent, gentle, brave, and unique. Family and friends are distraught.
And I'm sorry that I wasn't there to fight for you. I'm so proud of you. Your fight is now our fight.
Even though she was with us for a short time, she made a big impact on the people that she interacted with personally on a day-to-day. And even after that, even in her death, she made a big impact. And so both her presence and her absence are felt. And we'd like to thank you for lending her to us so that we could spend that time with her.
What happened to Na caused outrage doesn't even begin to cover it. In September 2019, protests against gender-based violence hit a peak. Thousands of people took to the streets, marching and holding rallies. People came from all over to show solidarity and support for Na's family. The hashtag number #AminNext was everywhere as the community came together. Even President Cyril Ramaphosa paid a visit to Na's family.
Okay, we'll stay with those visuals of the president arriving at the home, accompanied by some members of his government, to pay his respects at the home of the slain 19-year-old UCT student Uyinene Mkhwetyana.
Residents of East London set fire to Leander's house, and 4 firefighters battled the blaze while an incredibly angry crowd looked on. People feared he might be released on bail. They even dug a pit in the yard, planning to bury him there if they found him inside. He fooled all of us, pretending to be a man of God, when in reality he's a monster, said one local resident.
As a 19-year-old student, I am Uyinene, and I'm angry, I'm tired. We're tired of being told to work in groups. We're tired of being told to carry pepper spray. We're tired of being told how to survive. We want to live.
The students are also very shocked and saddened, and as you say, also traumatized, I think, by these events. I think they are especially traumatized by knowing that this is not an isolated incident and that the levels of gender-based violence in this country are unacceptably high.
I think we are all touched by this in one way or another. We all feel the trauma, we all feel the pain, and we all feel the anger.
When this hit us yesterday, it was just, yeah, it happened. But then when I got home last night, that's when it like really hit me like, okay, this actually happened and you have to be cautious of where you go, and you just anymore, like you just really can't trust people, seriously, you really can't.
The Claridge Post Office located in Claremont is a temporary close, but residents in the nearby areas are asking for the post office to be closed down and turned into a shelter for women and children or a memorial center in reminder of Uinene's death. Chairperson for the Harfield Village, James Fernie, said that a lot of things need to be considered before the post office can actually be closed down permanently.
The case caused such a huge stir in South Africa, and beyond that, more and more people were demanding real action to stop the country's femicide rate, which, according to the World Health Organization, is 5 times higher than the global average. That same month, 5 more young women were killed under horrific circumstances in Cape Town, and at the time of Na's murder, the country also had some of the highest rape rates in the world. A petition that gathered over 600,000 signatures called for the return of the death penalty, not just for murder, but for rape and sexual crimes too. In court, Leander pled guilty to both the rape and the murder.
Mr. Leander Botha, did you hear the charges against you?
Yes, I heard the charges.
So he's pleading guilty on all 4 counts, Valerie.
Thank you. You may have a seat. Thank you. I see in terms of the conviction and sentence agreement that you had pleaded guilty. I'm going to ask you a few questions so I can be satisfied. You are nodding, may I assume that's yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Do you understand that if I accept the conviction and sentence agreement, that you would be accordingly so convicted, that you would therefore have a criminal record, and that you would be sentenced accordingly in terms of this agreement?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you.
His legal representatives, he stated, "I acknowledge that I acted fully aware that my actions were illegal, and I take responsibility for them as I intended to rape and kill the victim."
On the count 1, which is in short rape, life imprisonment. Count 2, which is rape, life imprisonment. On count 3, for the unlawful and wrongful killing, which is the murder of Uinene, life imprisonment. And count 4, 5 years direct.
Sentenced to 3 life terms plus 5 years, with the possibility of parole after serving 25 years. The judge spoke to Na's family, saying she had fought bravely and desperately. This was truly a horrific and brutal crime. While this may feel like small comfort today, it matters that she was a fighter and had a real fighting spirit in the battle for her life. Na's uncle said the family was satisfied with the verdict. No court decision will bring Na back, but we appreciate this verdict.
Any sympathy for him. He did what he did. In fact, this crime for us is a classic act of man's inhumanity to man.
The Mkhwetyana family isn't interested in Leander Botha's apology.
No sentence or punishment that this court can or had imposed would bring back your lovely daughter.
With this kind of judgment, this in fact is a pocket of excellence on the part of the criminal justice system.
He began serving his sentence. He was called back to court to face charges for an attempted rape from 2014. Back then, he had been arrested, but the case was dropped. After what happened with Na, the case was reopened. During that trial, he testified that he had gone to meet his ex-girlfriend, who was a nursing college student, but supposedly there had been some kind of betrayal between them. He claimed that he went to her college, and the security guards let him in without following proper procedures. Not finding her in the room, he went to the women's showers, where he heard the sound of running water. He heard voices and thought his girlfriend was there with another woman. When he went inside, he saw a woman he didn't know. She screamed when she saw him and ran away.
It was the complainant, and upon seeing me, she was completely taken aback. She screamed. It was so loud, and in a fright, I jumped back down. I could not even think. Then I just ran out of the shower, ran out of the bathroom. I could see that this lady is shaken by this.
He claimed that he went back to the showers to explain why he was there, but the woman was lying on the floor, wrapped in a towel, crying hysterically. He denied any physical contact. Her version of events was completely different. She said he had violently attacked her and raped her in the showers. However, in early 2025, he was found not guilty in that case. Afterward, an investigation was launched into how he had remained employed at the post office, despite having prior criminal convictions. A spokesperson confirmed that no background checks were done when he was hired, neither as a part-time nor full-time employee. Leander himself had claimed he had no criminal record. The investigation also revealed that the State Security Agency had previously flagged hundreds of other employees with criminal histories. The Department of Justice and Correctional Services published 3 new bills aimed at imposing harsher penalties for offenders in South Africa. Key changes included stricter sentencing regulations for crimes committed against vulnerable people, easier access to restraining orders in domestic violence cases, expanded categories of sex offenders whose names must be entered into the National Register for Sex Offenders. The President stated that after graduating 5,000 police trainees last year, this year, an additional 7,000 trainees were recruited to strengthen local police forces. Na was someone who left a deep mark on everyone she met, both those who knew her personally and those who learned about her through the media under tragic circumstances. In her honour, a scholarship and foundation were established, awareness marches were organised, work with youth groups was initiated, and even a soccer club was named after her. She continues to be an important part of her community. She was also posthumously honoured by her former school. In a statement, Kingswood College said, "We were honoured to have her as part of our family. The Neil Agate Award is given to Kingswood College students who demonstrate exceptional personal courage and a strong sense of social justice." One of her friends wrote on social media, "I'm writing this while spending the night with a few of our closest friends. We're distracting ourselves with movies and music, but there's this shaky, heavy sadness in the room. The pain is so strong, it presses on me as I fall asleep and wakes me up in the morning. I'm way too young to be burying a friend, and you were way too young to be buried." Her brother Asa said, "I often think about our shared memories and go through periods of reflection. I constantly ask myself if I'm living in a way that would make her proud. Sometimes it feels like I'm falling short, and that's when I push myself to raise the bar. That's how I keep her memory alive inside me." If you want to support our channel and help us keep creating content, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. It really helps us out and we truly appreciate it.